Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bells. Whether you are watching on YouTube or on Pro Wrestling TV, we are so happy to have you with us for the exclusive podcast for Women's Wrestling Army. My name is Alyssa Marino. I'm a WWA commentator, and I am joined by the ever so fabulous 17-plus year podcaster, Will Washington. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, Alyssa. I'm always doing great, especially getting to be here on Beyond Bells.
It's a great time.
It's a great time. It's a great time to continue to be a wrestling fan. I keep saying, I say it constantly. Any podcast you've heard me on over the last year, you'll hear me say that there has never been a better time to consume this content because there's always going to be something for you. Guarantee it, especially if this is it for you.
It's true. It's like ice cream. There are so many different flavors, any kind of thing you fancy. There's something for everybody. And so what say we kick things off with a little bit of bites from the news. Speaking of ice cream, we did recently celebrate Ice Cream Day in celebration of the late, great Daffney. Her birthday was over this past weekend. The Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, had recorded an interview with Daffney for NWA Girl Power that never really made the light of day, and they recently did publish it to AK's YouTube. That was a very, very special
So touching. It was
thing.
It was great because just to get to see her at that time period, it was really special, and it was really cool to see. I miss Daffney. That's such a loss to the wrestling world.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is very echoed by a lot of people throughout the wrestling world. Obviously very appreciative of AK for, sharing the footage of the interview and compiling. There was this beautiful, memorial of all the photos, and it was just really, really nice. And with that being said, there were donations that are being made to support the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, in Daffney's honor. There was actually a fundraiser link on Allison Kay's Instagram. And recently, AK took to social media to share that with the outpouring of support that they got, they already exceeded the goal that they wanted to raise for NAMI. And there are 28 days still left in the fundraiser. So well done to everyone in the wrestling community and beyond.
That's so
Great
cool.
stuff.
And it's really great when the wrestling community comes together like that and supports a good cause like that. That's really cool.
Definitely. And in other exciting news within the wrestling world, this weekend, Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor will be taking place in Lowell, Massachusetts. There are 5 incredible championship matches slated for the pay-per-view, including the ROH Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez defending her title against Serena Deeb.
Yeah, this one this one alone is going to be something special. I'm a really big fan of Serena Deeb's work, and I feel like this is probably her time. This is just my gut feeling. But Mercedes Martinez is a tough challenge, so who knows? She's held onto the belt this long.
Anything can happen.
Anything could happen. Lowell, Massachusetts. I think the Ring of Honor returning to Lowell. That's been quite a home for Ring of Honor. New venue this time for Ring of Honor, but I think this one's going to be quite the event. And I'll actually be doing a post show on that one. Follow me if you want to learn more on all of that. So,
Heck yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you know where to find me.
I was going to say You're hard to miss, my friend.
Yes.
You're a presence, and we appreciate you. And also this weekend up in the Northeast, 2 WWA competitors will actually be colliding at Garden State Pro's debut event, Welcome to Eden. Multi-time champ Taya Valkyrie and the Afro-Punk Trish Adora are set to cross paths in a double main event that will also see the sensational Konosuke Takeshita taking on 2-time Impact World Champion Josh Alexander.
God, Konosuke Takeshita. He is this excursion of his has just been phenomenal, and just seeing more matches like this, him up against Josh Alexander, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, super duper impressive, and definitely really excited to see Valkyrie and Adora. I feel like that's going to be tons of fun. I'm excited I get to be on the call for it, and it's going to be wild. There's some amazing matches for sure. And also, the newest episode of WWA is hitting Pro Wrestling TV tonight at the time of this airing. And it is a collection of matches from our partnership with Warrior Wrestling during Forbidden Door weekend in Chicago.
Yes. A collection of matches I was there for.
Yes,
yeah, I was. And if you haven't seen these, and they are phenomenal matches, Do you want to go over them?
I mean, we can. We saw the two-turn party unicorn Lainey Luck and La Boricua badass Tasha Steeles. We had the team of Tootie Lynn Ramsey and Sierra taking on Hex and the Mission Pro champion Holodead, defending her title against the Kick Demon Janai Kai.
Yeah, match you got to see
All
us promote
stellar.
here on Beyond the Bells, but until you actually got to see this match take place, you have no idea what you're in store for.
You really don't, especially because I feel like there's always, you never know what's going to happen. There's always things that can pop up, surprises along the way. So you're definitely not going to want to miss this episode, my friends. But speaking of exciting events and speaking of all things Women's Wrestling Army, why don't we bring on today's special guest, the First Lady of Pro Wrestling and head boss lady in charge of WWA, Maria Kanellis-Bennett. Hi, Maria. Welcome back. How are you?
Very soon. I probably shouldn't be back this soon, but I had some announcements to make. So here I am.
Here you are. And of course, I know we have exciting announcements to get to. We want to, be able to pick your brain a little bit. A lot of our friends over on Pro Wrestling TV are maybe seeing this for the first time. So do you mind giving people kind of a background on what Women's Wrestling Army is all about?
So Women's Wrestling Army is a collection of talent that came from the days of Ring of Honor, and the fact that Ring of Honor right now doesn't have a consistent home, and really wanting a place for those talented individuals to be able to show what they can do best, and that's wrestle. Not only that, but it also highlights new and fresh talent that's out there in the world that maybe this is their first opportunity to be on a show like this. Because with our show, we have the backstage interviews. We also have sit-down interviews. We have interactions that you'll see, storylines, all these different things that you would get on a major promotion. You also get here in WWA. And for a lot of the girls that have never done these type of things before, it's exciting and it's fun. And wrestling should be fun. So, it's that, and it's so much more than that. It's with a underlying theme of women's empowerment, women supporting other women, and also being inclusive. So all of those different themes you'll see throughout the episodes as well.
Well, coming off the second WWA taping, Begin Anywhere. So for The Journey Begins back in May, we talked about how it was all about the journey. What's the significance behind the name of the most recent taping?
Begin Anywhere. So when I was growing up, my dad was, he's Greek, and his parents came straight over from Greece. And when they came to this country, they didn't know how to speak English. And my grandfather and my grandmother's brothers, they all got together and they got a restaurant. And even though they didn't speak English, and even though they didn't know how to run a restaurant, and even though they didn't know how to do these things, they began anywhere. So for me, I always grew up with Begin Anywhere, like with my father being, firstborn into the United States. And, he didn't know how to speak English until he was 5 years old. So like, it's just been a theme throughout my life that it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how hard the task is, or if you have no idea, or if you're speaking Greek, you can still figure it out if you begin. And that's what we're doing. We are beginning. And do we get it all right? No, we don't get it all right, but we try. We try really hard. And at the end of the day, because we began, we'll be able to continue. So there you go.
Heck yeah. And, talking about the beginning and all the twists and turns of the journey, recently the WWA documentary aired on Pro Wrestling TV, which took fans behind the scenes of that first taping back in May. And there were a lot of really fun and candid moments, as well as interview clips that were captured in the doc. But are there any moments for you that you watched back and you were maybe surprised by?
I mean, I can't say I was surprised by, but I always look at the in between. Like, so how do people look at each other? When the moment is ending, do they have a look of, oh my gosh, I'm glad it's over, or oh my gosh, I want to keep going? So it's those in between moments that I feel like you can get such a vibe off of people. When the camera isn't necessarily on them and it's on someone else, but someone's in the background, like those are the moments that you really get a vibe for people. And I think with this kind of documentary, you can see that. Without that documentary footage, you wouldn't have those interactions. You wouldn't have those moments because it would be what happens in the ring, or it would be what happens on the interview set. And it wouldn't necessarily make our show because we only have an hour-long show. So we try and filter in a little bit of documentary footage, but it doesn't always make it. So with having these documentaries, and we're going to continue having these documentaries, you get a vibe for everybody that's a part of our crew.
Well, you and Bobby both talked about this recent taping being a huge undertaking, with a whole lot of moving parts. 2 days worth of matches, interviews, and more. Comparing the Begin Anywhere taping to the first taping back in May, do you feel like you were able to implement some of the things you learned from The Journey Begins?
So we're always learning, we're always implementing, but this Begin Anywhere taping was the first one on our own. So, it was definitely a new adventure in that sense, because we didn't have any safety nets of, Beyond Wrestling, who has been doing it for years and years and years. It was just us. And, luckily, Bobby is incredible with formatting everything and making sure that we get everything that we need. But without that, I think we would have been in a world of hurt. And I think that the girls also, they understood the assignment. Some girls were working twice in a day, and, they were excited to do it. They were happy to do it. They, they went above and beyond. And now you're going to see so much of that, because so many of the girls now are like tweeting about the events and how much fun they had. And I think that's going to continue to grow. So, luckily, even though we were on our own, we had each other to lean on. And then the girls, they all knew the assignment.
They totally crushed it. Yeah, there was definitely so much excitement, and yeah, kind of how you said, it's all about the collaboration, and we're all elevating one another. It's really, really beautiful.
Did you have a favorite match?
Oh, okay. See, you read my mind, because we were going to ask you. We were going to ask you about that.
I can't say. I
know.
I know it's like asking to pick your favorite child, but you can.
No, they're all my kids, and I don't. Yeah, I always have this thing of like, I don't care. I shouldn't put it that way. I do care how well someone does in the ring, but I don't judge someone based solely on how they did in the ring that particular day. I'll never do that, because I don't think that is always the best way to approach talent, because sometimes you have an off day or an off week, or I've seen it before where you have an off year, and so I wait to see. And so I don't judge things by that, but I do think that more people are coming out of their shell. I was excited to see Jordan on our shows. I had seen her around, but I hadn't seen her work our shows. And seeing her work our shows, like it gave me that vibe, and like, all right, now I get you, and I'm excited to see where you're going. Chennai, oof, she just, in the last few months, man, Ring of Honor to now is like totally different ball game. She also might have my favorite music. Currently my favorite music, I think. It's just, okay. Yeah, it just hits me in the right way. But I also, I think that Queen Aminata, is another one that, has been wrestling for a bit, but recently, all of a sudden, I feel like is really turning it up. Trish and Dee was fantastic. But I'm not going to say too much about that match, because I feel like that's one you need to watch and glass of wine and just really enjoy, because it was what I dreamed about. Yeah.
Definitely something to savor. Yeah.
Yes.
To enjoy every moment. Well, and now also at this recent taping, we had the addition of Coach Allison Danger being present. What did it mean to be able to have her kind of lending her expertise and experience to the Women's Wrestling Army roster?
So with our underlying theme of women supporting women, having her there just emphasizes that even more, because she supported so many women around across the years and different companies. And she's had such an influence on different people that I think it's important for her to still be in the industry and still being able to give to those people, because I don't think she reached her full potential in WWE. I think she has more to give in this industry. With such a base of starting Shimmer. I mean, what an incredible attitude to have back then, to say, you know what, this isn't being done, so I'm going to do it. And to be one of the co-founders that did that. So I think, you know, someone that's been there, done that in a more difficult time, gives me a mentor as well. And, you know, I don't know everything. I would never say that I know everything. So to have somebody I can learn from as well, I think is important. And we're going to continue to bring in more and more women into executive positions. It's just going to, you know, take time to get there.
I know, obviously, you know, you don't want to spoil anything because we haven't seen these episodes come out yet. But is there anything in particular that you feel like folks can expect from the episodes that will be coming out of the Begin Anywhere tapings?
Hard hitting. Holy cow. Like,
oh, yes.
Okay. So some of the matches I was like, okay, this one will be more, you know, more technical. This one will be a little bit more hard hitting. This one will be more grappling. This one will be a little bit more, you know, quick moving or lucha, whatever. No, they all hit hard. I don't know if there was like a memo sent around between everybody that were like, you know how when you go to high school, you're like, okay, we're all going to wear pink today. No. They all like sent a memo and they're like, we're all going to hit hard. And it like started from the beginning and it didn't stop. And like, that is, yeah. I love it because it's like our logo has like this pink lipstick through it and all of them are like, I'm going to beat you. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's good. It's good stuff.
Get you a woman that can do both, right?
Exactly.
Well, from Journey Begins to the Journey Continues, what's next for WWA?
So I can give a little bit of an announcement. Yay!
Yes.
So our next taping will be in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. It will be on September 9th. So, yay, September 9th.
Heck yes. We love breaking news. Yes. I was curious if there's any tea that can be spilled regarding potential talent we might be seeing September 9th, perhaps?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Maybe a smidge or maybe a couple smidges. So we'll definitely have the Hex back. So I'm super excited about that. They were missed for sure on this last set of tapings, but we will have them back. We will have Lufisto back again.
Hell yes.
We're going to have Max back. We'll have Queen Amanada. We're going to have Janai there. And Willow will be back with us. So yay! So there's a few names for you. We'll continue to release them as we get closer and closer to the date. But this will be definitely continuing the story. And it's going to be called Anywhere World. So, yeah. And part of it has to do with being at Disney, but I think anywhere in the world can really appreciate women's wrestling. So we're excited to be able to tape it again. Yeah, and we'll have merch there too. So you'll be able to get your first Women's Wrestling Army tees. So I'm excited about that.
Heck yes. So this is great. So whenever our tickets become available, we are going to be having it all over the socials where people can get theyrs. If, Maria, if someone's if someone's still on the fence, obviously they've heard about this awesome venue, they've heard about the incredible talent, but they're still, on the fence. Why do they need to come to see Women's Wrestling Army live?
Because it's something for everybody. In our Chicago tapings, we had people coming off the streets to come in and watch the show. We actually had a couple that had never been to a wrestling show before. They seen our sign and they decided to come upstairs. And they were met at the door by the person that was taking the tickets. And they're like, yeah, we got a babysitter for a couple more hours. And yeah, they ended up staying for the whole show. And they've been wrestling before. And now it's something they can enjoy together. And we have every kind of wrestler, every type of wrestling. And it's great storytelling. So plus it's going to be in a cool venue. So definitely get your tickets when they become available, which should be shortly, and come and have a good time. And I meet everybody at the door. So, at the end of the day, you could tell me all about your thoughts about it all. I will listen. I shake everybody's hand. I make sure that everybody's happy when they go home. If they're not, I will take your concerns, but I haven't had one yet. So, that's another part of this is we are building an army. We are building an army of wrestling fans that are coming to our shows. And it's not just for women. It's for guys too. It's for all people, non-binary, however you choose to identify. It's for everyone.
It's true. And I can confirm that you were literally standing in front of the Women's Wrestling Army banner by the entrance, and you were just taking pictures with everyone that came up. It was definitely a welcoming feel.
I understand. This is your hard-earned money. Here you come, and you had to get a sitter, or you had to take off work, or you had to drive in freaking traffic, or whatever it is, and you come to the show. I want to say thank you. I want to say, I appreciate you being here. The women in the back appreciate you being here. Everyone appreciates you being here. So that's important to remember that the fans are there and they've paid money to be there. So that's important to me.
Yeah, I think Mike had said it too in the documentary that we're creating an atmosphere. And I definitely think that that's showing itself more and more as we see more tapings and more of these events coming up for WWA. It's very, very exciting. And we're so appreciative of you and Bobby for creating this atmosphere and this for being project.
A part of it. This is how we get the word out there. And now, because Pro Wrestling TV has enjoyed having our programming so much, and so many people are flocking to Pro Wrestling TV because women's wrestling is now on their platform. Now Beyond the Bells is on there too. So we're building our platforms that we're on as well. And that's exciting. Our documentaries are on there, and we're going to continue to put out more and more different kind of content so that you can become part of it. You can feel like you're one with the army.
Super inclusive, super immersive as far as all of the different platforms.
We'll get AI down the road, or meta. What is it called? What is it? Speaking the wrong
VR?
And I don't know. There's something. Never mind.
Hey, I want that one with the army shirt at some point in the future, by the way. We are one with the army.
Ah, nice. Okay. Totally. I'll get it for you. I'll get it done.
Well, and honestly, Maria, we're grateful for you taking the time to chat with us. Of course, we want to make sure all of our friends are following Women's Wrestling Army on all the socials and catching full episodes on Pro Wrestling TV and subscribing for early access and exclusive content over at womenswrestlingarmy.com. Anything else for our pals at home before we finish up over here?
No, I just appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us. Continue tweeting about us. Let your friends know, because that's how we build this army, is we do it all together.
That's right. Thank you, Maria, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm so excited, Will. I'm glad that we get to be a part of this. I'm excited for Anywhere World. This is going to be cool.
This is going to be great. And I'm super excited. Again, September 9th, Anywhere World. That's at the Tin Roof in Orlando. Ticket information will be available soon.
definitely. So for all of our friends at home, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Beyond the Bells. And for Will Washington, I'm Alyssa Marino, and we'll see y'all next time.